You think you know your neighbors. The quiet streets, the white picket fences. Safe.
But sometimes, the person behind the door is living a nightmare you couldn't imagine. Joseph Kallinger.
A father, a husband, a shoemaker, and a serial killer. He kidnapped strangers, murdered at least 3 people, and most horrifying, he involved his son in his crimes, claiming it was God's mission.
The police caught him in 1974, but by then, the damage was done. His life is one of those stories that's almost too surreal to be true. Yet it happened.
And that darkness, the twisted father-son dynamic, would go on to inspire stories like Frailty, where devotion and fear collide in ways most of us can barely comprehend. Welcome back to the Fear Archive, the show where we dig into the darkest corners of crime and the films they inspire. I'm Mike.
And I'm Amanda. Tonight, we're talking about Joseph Kallinger, a man whose crimes were so horrifying they almost defy belief, and how his story connects to the movie Frailty, that twisted biblical horror tale of a father claiming to be on a mission from God.
It's a story of control, obsession, and moral delusion. And yeah, the suburban setting is straight out of a nightmare you think only exists in movies. Joseph Kallinger. To most, he was a quiet man, a shoemaker by trade, a father of 7, a husband, but beneath that unassuming exterior lurked a darkness so profound it would take years for the world to understand.
Born Joseph Lee Brenner III on December 11, 1935 in Philadelphia, Kallinger's early life was marked by trauma and neglect. His father abandoned the family when he was just a child, and his mother was reportedly emotionally distant and abusive. These formative experiences would shape the man he would become.
By the time he reached adulthood, Kallinger had adopted the surname of his stepfather, Kallinger, and began working as a shoemaker. He married and fathered 7 children, presenting himself as a devoted family man. But appearances can be deceiving.
In 1972, Kallinger's darker tendencies began to surface. He was arrested on charges of arson and child abuse. While in jail, he scored an IQ of 82.
Now, when you hear that number 82, that's technically considered below average. But for context, it doesn't mean he couldn't plan, scheme, or understand the consequences of his actions. He was still capable of complex manipulation, committing crimes, and controlling his son. IQ isn't a moral measure. It just tells you how he performed on a standardized test.
Yeah, and he was also diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia. State psychiatrists recommended that he be supervised with his family. However, the children later recanted their allegations and he was released.
And, the seeds of violence for Joe were already there. In 1972, Kallinger's son, Joseph Jr., was found dead in an abandoned building.
Yikes.
Now, this is just, this is just 2 weeks. This is just 2 weeks after Kallinger had taken out a life insurance policy on him. Go figure, right? So, Kallinger claimed that the boy ran away, but the insurance company didn't buy it. And while charges weren't filed, they didn't pay out. So he did not get the financial return on that life insurance policy. And by 1974, Kallinger was on a crime spree with his other son, 12-year-old Michael. They traveled across Pennsylvania, Baltimore, Jersey, posing as salesmen to gain entry into homes. And once inside, they would really run amok. So they would bind, assault, and sexually abuse the residents.
I don't like it. Their reign of terror culminated on January 8th, 1975 in Leonia, New Jersey. After overpowering and tying up 3 residents, they waited for others to arrive. When a 21-year-old nurse, Maria Fasching, entered the home, she was stabbed in the neck and back when she refused to comply with Kallinger's orders. The Kallingers fled the scene using a city bus as their getaway vehicle.
And the police investigation, it quickly pointed to Joseph and Michael Kallinger. This did not take long to figure out who did this. So eyewitnesses, they'd seen them in the area. They left a lot of trace evidence. So there was a bloody shirt that was found along their escape route. Further investigation revealed a history of domestic violence, arson, and the suspicious death of Kallinger's son, Joe Jr. Remember, he just died in 1972, so it really wasn't that long ago. And it was, while not investigated at the time, certainly mysterious circumstances. I mean, come on. You took out a large life insurance policy, and then, not long after your kid's dead? Sus!
Yeah. He was arrested and charged with multiple counts of kidnapping, rape, and murder. He pleaded insanity, claiming that God had commanded him to kill. However, the court found him sane and sentenced him to life in prison on October 14th, 1976. Michael deemed to be under his father's control and was sent to reformity.
Yeah, so while Joe was incarcerated, his behavior remained off the charts and erratic. He made more than one suicide attempt, including setting himself on fire.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And due to his suicidal and violent tendencies, he was transferred to psychiatric hospitals in both Trenton, New Jersey, and Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So he did a tour.
To set yourself on fire is so intense.
They say that's like one of the worst ways to die.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know like who's actually survived that and, died and come back from that. To say that's the worst way to die, but they say it's just a pretty horrific way.
Yeah. In 1976, journalist Flora Schreiber, known for her book Sybil, interviewed Kallinger in prison. These interviews formed the basis of her 1983 book, The Shoemaker. Sorry, you're laughing.
I'm laughing because it is funny. It is. He called himself a cobbler, but I was just like, I just think of the Keebler elves. I pissed off a cobbler once. I'll tell you that later.
The book that she wrote goes into Kallinger's psyche, exploring all his delusions, his justifications for all his crimes, and his complex relationship with his son.
Schreiber's portrayal of Kallinger is both chilling and empathetic. She presents him as a man who believed he was on a divine mission, a man who saw himself as a poet and a prophet, yet beneath his veneer of grandeur was a man capable of unspeakable horror.
Kallinger died of heart failure on March 26, 1996, at the State Correctional Institution in Creston, Pennsylvania. He spent the last years of his life under suicide watch, a testament to the depth of his inner turmoil.
So Joseph Kallinger's story is a stark reminder of the darkness that can reside within the most ordinary of individuals. He really challenges our perceptions of good and evil and forces us to confront the uncomfortable truth that sometimes monsters don't lurk in shadows. They live next door and they cobble your shoes.
This whole case, it really was interesting for me to dive into. I didn't know about this one. I always think it's really interesting seeing murders, obviously, that are intertwined with religion, right? God told me, an angel told me, whatever it may be, like, a higher power told me. We kind of saw this with the Gainesville Ripper.
Oh, yeah.
Gemini, exactly.
Yeah,
just going back to that, where it's like something higher, and it really does kind of always come back to schizophrenia. And it's unfortunate back then, there wasn't anything really to help everyone out with, mental illness and therapy. And I think were they doing shock therapy back then?
Well, yeah, ECT, but I feel like ECT, ECT is great apparently with depression, like people who have just like clinical depression who've gone through ECT. There are studies that say that it's really helped them. But mental illness is not your fault, but it is your responsibility, right? Like it's your responsibility to, work through some type of treatment, right? I do have a question though about all these people who hear the voice of God. They always act. Why do they always act like they got the exclusive drop? It's like, calm down, dude. That's not prophecy. That's your brain starting a surprise live stream with the comments turned off. All right. And if the voice suddenly says, rotate 180 for holy patch notes, congratulations. You just unlocked the Backdoor Blessing DLC. I don't know.
I mean, I think it has to do with religion, right? It's like if I know I don't know if we really want to get into it, but if you truly believe in God and a higher power, and then it's talking to you, I mean, well, hot damn.
So I got a question though about old Joe here. So
Yeah.
do you think that his God's mission narrative was like purely delusional, or could this have been like a twisted rationalization for just rage and control? Like, was this just an angry, deeply angry human being looking to cause damage and find a reason to justify what they did?
Yeah, I mean, like, if you really stop and think about it, right? This is someone who was physically and mentally abused. I think from a very young age. It's kind of unfortunate when you look at the system and what happens to kids that are adopted or even just foster kids. I like to hope now we do a little bit better job, but to have people who adopted you beat you and abuse you. I think I was reading they locked him in a cage. And it was really the dad would make him kneel down on sharp objects, and I believe he passed that down to his family. He was abusive to his children, and I think it was just kind of passed on. Yeah.
I think it's wild that he had 7 kids, man. 7
I thought that
kids.
Too. Okay, no, but I thought that too, because I was like, oh, him and his one son, going on a killing spree, and I was like, wait, there were 6 more. I think one of the other sons reported him for abuse to the police. I'm not sure if that's the same one that was found dead.
Yeah, I feel like his first child, his firstborn, which is interesting in that respect too, because it's always like, the firstborn and all that stuff, right? Like Joseph Jr. was the one who he murdered. He murdered. Yeah. The son with his namesake, right? It is. I don't know. I do not know.
One of the murders that we didn't touch upon that I read about, and you can fact check me on this one, maybe it's not right, but it's kind of horrifying. He drowned a 10-year-old boy.
Yes.
Lured him into a basement, and he drowned him in a tub, and he claimed that God told him to sacrifice the child.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah.
So
when we're sitting here and talking about, God speaking to him, I think thinking about these horrific things that he has done, and thinking about using religion to rationalize it, it's so crazy to me.
No, I feel the same way, and I don't know why is God's mission always involve murdering children in bathtubs?
It's the bath.
Yeah. Oh God. Inside reference to a project. Amanda and I, if you do not know, are also we're a writing team, so we have quite a few things that are in development at the moment, and the bath is one of them. But this I guess it is actually very biblical, the story, right? I mean, if you look back, and I'm no Bible scholar, but Cain and was it Cain and Abel? Is that where was it Job? I don't know. I got to look this up. I'm terrible.
I think you're just naming names now.
I'm naming biblical names. Hold on. Cain and Abel summarized. Let's see. Cain and Abel were the first sons of Adam and Eve, and the story recounts how Cain murdered Abel. Okay, so that would be siblings. Ooh, yeah, interesting. That'll be more on that when we get to our movie for tonight, which is Frailty. Yeah. But so I'm curious though, talking about the siblings in the story. So Michael, who was Daddy's murderous buddy, right? So how might Michael's participation have been rooted in fear versus faith? Do you think Dad totally indoctrinated him?
Well, I had this thought when I was looking into it of, do you think Michael saw his brother die in, unconfirmed circumstances.
It's possible.
And that, I mean, he was literally afraid of being killed as well. But then, I don't know. What do you think? Because I also think as time goes on, and if you have your dad who's rationalizing murder and making it seem like, no, it's okay, does your like undeveloped frontal lobe think like, oh yeah, you're right, this is okay?
100%. I mean, Michael was also 13. I mean, do you
Yeah.
remember? Do you remember where you were at 13? Like, adults still kind of scared you, right? Like
Yeah.
listening to an adult, like they, would say because, right? Like maybe we were starting to build like rebellion at that point, right? Where we would like
Yeah.
be willing to rebel, but it's still like an adult is saying that this is right because, and like we don't actually need the reason after the ellipses, right? Like, it's because ... Okay, the adult said because, right? So I think that Michael, of my humble opinion on this is Michael was a victim as well. I don't think.
Agree. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was totally fear and also maybe faith. Like maybe he was still religious and believing in
Yeah.
my dad's saying that God's telling me to kill. So like God is probably real. And Dad is certainly believing this. So I have to go with what my dad's saying. So
Yeah.
this is
It's also like severe generational trauma. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, 100%. So, just thinking about that, like they're abused into this sort of submission of following Big Joe's crusade against. I don't even know what. I think guard. God was just
Gerd told me to do it.
Gerd, yeah, Gerd told me to. Gerd would tell me to do a lot of bad things,
my
destroying my esophagus.
Yeah. I just imagine spitting like stomach acid out on everyone.
Like let me tell you about my friend Barrett's and his esophagus that you are developing slowly.
People just throwing Tums at me. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I totally. I just think that you're right about the intergenerational trauma here. You know, I mean, Joe. And it's like, didn't we talk about in one of our previous episodes? We kind of talked about this like sort of Stockholm syndrome kind of like relationship, right? I think that there's this sense of, so for our audience who might not be familiar with the term Stockholm syndrome, it's when you in a sense are enamored by your captor after long enough in their captivity, right? So Joe came from an abusive family, like he but still took the surname of his abuser, right? So he took the name Kallinger. He revered this person, even though this person severely traumatized him. And it's like this. So I really just to piggyback on what you said. Yes, it's intergenerational trauma. It's just this this passing of this curse, essentially.
I mean, so you're a father.
Yeah.
And I mean, I adore and love my dad to pieces. Shout out, Dad. But like, let's just look at it. Big Ben. But let's look at it from this perspective of. It's so funny. Mike does know my dad, guys.
I do.
Mike and I've known Mike since I was 14, which is insane. But okay, anyway, so but yeah,
we were young.
Oh, I wish
we're not old. We're not. We're still young.
I'm not old. But
we're not old.
I'm not 14. Thank God I'm not 14. Okay.
Yeah.
Back
it sucks.
to it though. So I mean, thinking about a 13-year-old and how 13-year-olds typically really idolize and look up to their fathers, especially I would say for boys. That you mirror them, you take on a lot of their personality, trying to find out who you are as a person. So it's kind of interesting to think of it in that perspective too. And this is like we're saying, generational of like, Kallinger looking up to his abusive father, but also being abused, and then passing that down to his son, and his son looking up to him and saying like, "Oh yeah, this is the right thing." Although he, like we said, this could have been, he could have been a victim. He is a victim himself, right? In the sense of, if he doesn't do this, he might be hurt.
100.
So, yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but just a thought,
you're going with the cycle of violence, which is 100% accurate, right? Like this is they talk about this, like psychologists talk about this, right? Like the psychology of these at least these serial offenders, whether it's a murderer or a sex offender, or like it's the psychology, the cycle of violence where it's learned behavior versus like a genetic predisposition, right? Like this is just it was done to him, and he's going to do it to someone else because he also probably did not have the supports to help him work through what he went through.
Can I ask you
right?
something?
Like yes.
How do you balance empathy for mental illness, but also taking accountability for horrific acts?
So with Kallinger, so this is the interesting thing because ultimately cancer got him, right? Like cancer is
right.
No, I'm sorry, heart disease.
Yeah, right.
Why was I saying cancer? Heart disease got Kallinger. Eventually, like biology just took him out of existence, right? But he had to have felt some kind of guilt for what he did because he tried to commit suicide multiple times while in prison. And I don't think it was because he was bored. I think it was because he had time to sit with his thoughts and realize, like, oh boy, I fucked up. I did horrible things and I ruined lives. I don't know.
Or do you think it was not the guilt, but maybe all the voices in his head? Because he's schizophrenic. I mean,
that is true.
But was he medicated? Did they have medication for that back then?
Sure. I mean, I'm sure they had medication, but was he? And this is like the thing: was he actually taking his medication? Was anyone really?
True.
Was anyone really watching him?
Yeah.
Like was he just sort of thrown into the snake pit? And it's like, oh yeah, you got this crazy guy that they wrote a bunch of books about, or at least one book. At least one book.
What happened to his son?
I don't know.
I actually didn't look into that.
Yeah, and neither did I. I don't know what happened to his son. I'm not sure.
I think his sentence ended at 21, but then
maybe his
was he
records
released?
Were let's look it up. So Joseph Kallinger's son, where is he? So let's see. Where is Joseph Kallinger's son? Okay, so
live research, everyone.
Live research, yes. So he's out there. But
is he?
Yeah, he's out there, but his location is unknown and undisclosed. So Michael is living in anonymity. Am I saying it correctly? Anonymity is one of those words.
I accept it. Put it in my dictionary.
So he's still out there, just like our other buddy. Okay, this is the third time I'm going to mention him.
I hate you.
Paul Bateson!
I don't
Paul,
want to
drop
see
into
you.
our DMs.
I don't.
DMs, Paul. I actually have some credible
want.
sources he's dead. I've had some people say that he died in 2000. Actually, Paul Bateson.
Did they tell you after our episode went on? Or
Yeah. Someone reached out to me.
Drop it in the comments.
Someone said he's been dead for a long time.
Okay.
So we don't have to worry about Paul Bateson.
Well, you never
in.
know.
Yeah.
He can come beyond the grave to you.
That's true. But Kallinger's son is out there, and you know what? Maybe this is one of the ones that we just kind of leave where it is.
I think so. Yeah.
I think he's a victim in this, and I'm truly sorry for what you went through.
And I hope he has gotten the help that he needs.
Yeah, I hope you're living your best life.
And the rest of the kids.
Yes. Yeah. All the 5, right? Because it was 7 kids.
Yeah.
1 died. Mm-hmm. The other 5 on top of you, Mike, I hope they're all doing well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah, Michael is out there. Joseph, Big Joey is, he's dead. This is all that's really it. This is one of those cases too that I feel like doesn't get a lot of play in the in
No.
the sort of the true crime world, right? Like not a lot of people run around talking about Joseph Kallinger. However,
yeah, we are.
we are, yeah, we're here. But we're also gonna tie it.
Father son duo. Let's just run through really quick. How many people did they end up killing? 5?
So, yeah. So, well, Joe had those 2 victims, correct? Right. So there was the boy that he drowned in the tub. There was his own son that he murdered. Right. So,
Well,
God,
that wasn't proven, was it? But
yeah. What the that he murdered his son?
yeah, did he?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. So Joseph Kallinger. So what Kallinger is actually connected to? His toll, 3. That is what they're actually connecting him to, is 3 murders. So that is the accepted official count on this person. And you know, I don't know. Are we ready to tie this into our movie?
yeah. I mean, God gave him a mission: kill bad people and save humanity, which
And
ties
that-
right into. Go ahead.
Yeah, Amanda, that reminds me of the 2001 film Frailty, written by Brent Hanley and directed by Bill Paxton. It's one of those movies that really sneaks up on you. I actually saw this in the theaters when it came out, and I have a really disgusting, funny story about this. I had to. I have ulcerative colitis, so I have inflammatory bowel disease. Everybody, it's like a curse. It totally is. I've had it since I was 15. I'm 40, going to be 41 now. And I shit my pants at the Comac movie theater while I saw this movie, and I had to throw my underwear out in the garbage. It's a true story.
Did you stay for the whole movie?
I did.
Michael.
I freeballed it.
Michael.
Yeah. Anyway, listen. I wanted to see how the movie ended.
Okay, wait, but I don't. Okay, wait. I don't blame you. I want to preface this with one. I had never seen this movie. So when you mentioned it, I love Bill Paxton, right?
100%. Me too.
Yeah.
Rest in peace. Rest in peace.
Truly. So just looking at what the movie was, I was thinking, wait, he directed a movie? He directed a feature-length film? This is
totally.
great. So I was really excited to hop into this. And let me tell you, there are twists, there are turns. This movie is really great, and it deserves probably 3 watches just to grasp everything. Michael and I did discuss this a little bit beforehand because I wasn't sure how to approach this, because I really do want everyone listening who hasn't seen it to get the full experience. So we're not going to tell you what actually happens at the end, because it is jaw on the floor. My jaw was rolling down the street. So I really just want to keep it like to the second act, and then everyone can have fun.
Yeah.
Right? You agree? You
I
agree?
agree. I think this movie
No
works
spoilers
better.
for
No
it.
spoilers. It works better when you're surprised and you really also
It's great.
interpret it, because this is one of those films that's also, open for interpretation, but I think even though it's open for interpretation, I think you're still going to be a little shocked with the ending.
Okay, so let's hop into it. So Bill Paxton plays the father. He claims he's been chosen by God to destroy demons. Sounds familiar. Actual demons hiding in human form, right? So he truly believed there were demons on Earth, and his mission by God was to kill them. Or I believe it was like an angel came to him, right? I think
the angel looks like the angel comes to him. He has a bowling trophy, and it starts glowing, and it looks like the TriStar Pictures logo. And then the angel, I think it's supposed to be Michael the Archangel, and he comes down and he looks like Zach Galifianakis with a sword that's like on fire. It's pretty. I didn't know who Zach Galifianakis was in 2001, right? So like it was just like, it's a guy with a beard and a flaming sword.
Okay. So, and the way he draws his son into it is pretty unsettling. You feel the love, the fear, the devotion, and all the twists, all of it twisted together.
I'd also be remiss if we should probably throw in there that he's a widower, and they never really explain how the mom died. But this was something I actually caught in this viewing of the film. We both watch the movies before we do these podcasts, and I rewatched the movie, and I'm like, oh my god, that's so sad. They have a picture of their mom in a lot of frames in the movie, and it's like, oh, she must have had some. They don't really explain. I don't know. Maybe she died in a car accident, but maybe she had some sort of prolonged illness. But he is a widower with these two prepubescent boys, and he's raising them in this kind of working class pastoral Texas town. It's got a very Southern Gothic kind of vibe to it, which is really effective for this type of film, because I at the time I'd never seen anything like it that sort of worked off that sort of literary feel. It has a very literary feel to it too. It doesn't feel like your standard horror movie.
There's no jump scares. There's no flashy gore. Yeah. There's no actually I would say the only manufactured dread is this anxiety fueling you. And I think this ties into a lot of the episodes that we've done so far of families in small towns in the middle of nowhere and getting away with shit, right? I mean, building that shed. That was
God,
crazy.
that's terrible. And it's like
the way they built it, it was giving Amish. I was look at them go. It's a father and his two sons building a shed with a basement.
Which I mean, we've been talking about a lot about pits on this show too. I mean, in the last episode we had Buffalo Bill and
he had a pit for
on
sure.
Our Ed Gein episode. No pain, no gain. But so I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that Matthew McConaughey is in this film.
All right. He is.
I know.
I was shocked when I saw him. I was like, oh.
This is also
Matthew?
This is peak McConaughey too. This is he's already a sex symbol. He's already all over the place, and he just decided to do this quiet, eerie, movie made by another Texan. I'm pretty sure Bill Paxton was from Texas, so there was that sort of Lone Star,
even if he wasn't.
Lone Star filmmaker kinship here. But we got to mention that this movie predates True Detective, and the Rust Cohle vibes in this are they oozing out of every frame that McConaughey is in here. This is proto Rust Cohle. So if you love True Detective and McConaughey's Rust Cohle character, he started working on that character long before he ever knew that existed. This is where he started working on that archetype in Frailty, or maybe even it was in Texas Chainsaw: The Next Generation, maybe. But this is definitely, there's something going on here that he parlayed into Rust Cohle, and just I don't want to talk any further about that role that he has in this film. He's really not in it that long, but he's on the poster.
And yet he's on the poster. But let's get back into what actually happened in the film. I mean, Bill Paxton plays the lead. He is the dad who does the killings, and he brings his sons into these righteous killings, right? And it's really interesting seeing Bill Paxton playing such a big role in the film and also doing his directorial debut. I mean, you know him from Aliens, Near Dark, Twister, for all my HBO girlies, Big Love.
Oh, totally.
100%. And so it's really interesting seeing him in all these big Hollywood roles and then choosing to do this kind of anxiety-driven, dread film about a father and two sons murdering people in a very religious and righteous way.
Yeah. Bill Paxton always kind of stayed true to the genre as well. Do you know he got his start in an incredibly morbid, some would say stupid slasher movie from the 80s called Mortuary. I'm going to tell you right out. He is the killer in Mortuary. He from like the first frame of the movie that Bill Paxton's the killer in this movie, but you also recognize that this is an extremely talented actor, and he never dismissed the genre. Like he wasn't those people who got too good for it. I would say this is Paxton's only film that he ever directed, and it was a horror movie. So, I mean, I think that speaks volumes about how he felt about the genre.
I looked it up. I believe it is. I think it's the only feature that he's directed. But unfortunately, he left the earth too soon, and I really wish we could have seen what he could have done. He was really.
He tragically passed away in 2017. Complications related to, I want to say it was open heart surgery. He was. What is the line that they give in The Dark Knight? Where it's like, you're the hero they deserve, but Dark Knight line. I don't know. Anyway, we lost Bill Paxton. He was an incredible filmmaker and actor and creative.
Yes.
And the world's a little dimmer without his presence.
Watch this film and you will see why. So let's hop back into the film. So he had this axe. All the killings were done with this axe.
Otis!
We have a prop, I guess, today.
No, this is like this is from my Shining costume from years ago. It's not a double bit axe, but it is a fake axe. Yeah.
Yes, he has an axe, and that is how all the killings are done. He eventually... He brings his sons in at first to kind of lure people, and then he does all the physical violence. But eventually he wants his sons to help him with the physical. I kind of mentioned it earlier. They build a pit and they build a shed over it with a door, a latched door, which is, somewhere to keep their captive folks and commit the crimes. I think that's kind of where things take off. I would say this film for me was a slow burn in the sense of when things really get amped up in like the end of the second act. I think you might know what I'm talking about when they put the first person into the pit and then the one son is like, I don't want to do this.
I do that same viewing when I saw this movie when I was in high school. I did see it for all of you who are listening who are from Long Island. Comac movie theater. That movie theater in general always smelled like ass, and they actually have found bodies in that movie theater. Funny story about that. No, but I saw it at the Comac movie theater, and there's the scene in Frailty when they do really ramp it up. This is post me shitting my pants in this movie theater. There's the scene when they hit the old man with the pipe, and we still laughed. I was like, I just threw out my underwear. I'm like, that's funny, though. That old man got hit in the back of the head with a pipe.
Yeah. So I think
maybe cut that. Maybe not. I don't know. It's character.
Okay. Well, I think...
Anyway...
For me, watching this, it was interesting to learn, like, all these people were actually evil, right? They all kind of... Yeah, and you know what connection...
The old man, there's that scene where, like, Bill Paxton's like, do you crying for him? He's like, do you know what he did to children?
Yes.
And like, God, I don't want to say anything. I don't want to give any spoilers away.
I know. But
my God.
I think this movie really crosses the lines of, was he actually touched by an angel? Or was it, he's just crazy. He's just out of his mind. And it really, I couldn't tell, and right, because it is film, it could go either way. It's not real life. I really loved that kind of juxtaposition of like, is it real? It's not real. And then there'd be another scene of it. Oh, it is.
We're not saying it's not real. Like, we're not telling you. You're going to see this movie.
Yeah. So it was. I love that aspect of it. He really did such a good storytelling job, and I can usually figure things out. I did not see this one coming. But yeah.
I got to ask you, why do you think that this movie is so criminal? Like, why don't people talk about this movie more frequently? Like, why is this a deep cut?
I don't know. I think because it is like a dark gothic film. I think people get uncomfortable talking about religion.
Oh, 100%.
And maybe that's why. What do you think?
No, I think it is that. Like, I think the I don't know what Bill Paxton's like religious beliefs were, and not even gonna guess. But like, I do think that like this is like a movie that really talks about faith, whether or not that it talks about faith being like irrelevant, or whether it talks about like people should have faith. I don't know. I think you could make an argument for either side with this film.
Yeah.
Like, this could be a film that talks about like there being absolutely nothing supernatural happening, and there's no God and there's no afterlife, like say that. But then it could also be like, well, maybe there is, and we're all fucked because we don't acknowledge it, right? I think that's the beauty of this movie, is it lives in this gray area, this ambiguity, and I think that that was why it was such a tough sell. I don't think this did very well. I think this kind of disappeared from the theaters after like a weekend.
No, that's disappointing.
And this was a time when people were going to the movies, though. You know, like this was.
Yeah.
And it had McConaughey, who was a sex symbol. You know, like this was like peak McConaughey.
I'm not sure. I don't think this is peak. I think it was a little early on.
What was his big movie?
Did Fool's Gold come out at that point yet?
I don't know. Let's look it up. Hold on. Fool's Gold.
Like everyone saw him as like a sex symbol after Fool's Gold because he was literally just not wearing a shirt the whole movie.
All right. That was 2008. So yeah. So he was like we were working up to it.
Early on, yeah. You know how I love blowing your mind with fun connections that you probably haven't thought of? Can I give you one?
Please.
Dexter.
Yeah. Shit.
Righteous killing.
But Dexter is an atheist.
That's true, but think about like the righteous killing, like killing bad people.
He has a code. You're right.
Yeah. Police connection.
Yes. Oh, well, we're giving too much away.
I know. Well, we don't have to say anything. We don't have to say anything.
Right.
But at the end, when he walks into the police station, I'm not giving anything away. But for people who have seen the film, when he walks into the police station, my jaw that was rolling down the street, it showed up to your house in upstate New York.
Ah, fuck. I thought I heard it.
All the way from Los Angeles. It was knocking on your door going, what the hell? What the hell?
Take me back. I miss LA. But you guys got to see this movie. So I think I think this is the point where we gotta make some connections.
Let's connect and talk about the movie and the true crime. So I think like on the surface you might say like one's a real life serial killer and the one's a Southern Gothic horror film, but I think when you start looking at the father-son dynamics, moral delusion, and suburban small town vibe, it's uncanny.
Yeah, I mean Kallinger, he wasn't just a dad; he was a cobbler, right? He was a shoemaker. Okay, so question to you shoemakers out there: do you prefer cobbler or shoemaker? Cobbler, I would just like personally, if I was making shoes, I just would feel like cobbler sounds too much like Keebler, like as an elf. So I'm
drop
not
it
knocking
in the comments. I'll hate cobblers.
Yes, cobbler.
Well, is there a difference between someone who makes shoes and someone who cobbles? Because is a cobbler someone who like mends shoes, or are they making shoes?
I think we'll let the internet have its say.
I gotta know.
Yeah, I do too. I got yelled at by a cobbler once though, so I will say he's like I can't fix it.
Yeah, anyway. From your crappy boots that you wanted to get fixed.
Yes. My fake leather boots that they look like troll boots. Anyway, so all right, so we got Frailty and we got Joseph Kallinger. So one's a real life serial killer, We got this, Kallinger, he wasn't just a dad, right? So he was a working class person, right? Shoemaker, crafts shoes all day. But by night, he's manipulating his son, terrorizing strangers, wrecking all kinds of havoc on the Philadelphia metro area. And in Frailty, we got Paxton's dad. So he kind of cobbles, right? Like he cobbles together his own twisted sense of justice,
Mm-hmm.
Cobble until he wobbles. Cobble till you wobble.
I think, Paxton's use of space, which is really interesting. The Texas landscape, it feels idyllic.
It's almost dreamlike, right? Like there's this like this.
But it kind of mirrored Kallinger's suburban life, perhaps. I mean, there are a little different, but I don't know.
I think that like the total connection between the two of them, because whether you're talking about like the suburban Texas town or the Philadelphia, the fringes of Philly where Kallinger and his family lived, there is this sense of like this detached, dreamlike quality to it all, because it's like. I don't know. I mean, you had this, in the true crime, you had Joseph Kallinger who was talking to these, essentially he has like a resource room amount of children. Like he's got a small room full of children. Like he essentially has like a tiny school, right, with 7 children. And he's talking about how he's getting directives from God. All right, like that's got to be surreal, because I don't think all of his children had the same mental illness he had, and they're like, "What the fuck is going on here with Dad?"
Yeah.
But you have that, but then you also have the same thing going on in, Frailty with the 2 boys and Bill Paxton.
Let me ask you a question.
Go for it.
Do you think Frailty functions as a kind of redemption fantasy for real life God killers? Or a critique of them?
I think that it's a critique. I don't think Paxton would have. I don't think he was the type of person to sort of romanticize these people. I think that it was a critique, and again, without giving too much away with the ending, or at least my interpretation of the ending of this film, I think that Bill Paxton was totally saying, "Look at the lunacy of this all."
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think it was romantic. I think Frailty is like it is a little bit of like a dark fairy tale, but a very dark one with a dark ending.
What about the idea of that the father was right and the people were demons, right? What happens?
So if that you're saying that if that is how the movie ends.
Let's say, like, what if he was really right? What if, like, everyone was evil and, like, God was talking to him? What happens to, like, the moral logic if that is true? Like, does it suddenly make him a hero? And I think this kind of goes back to, like, I was thinking about that, right? And that's kind of where I made that Dexter connection of, like, everyone really likes Dexter. Dexter's, like, he's doing good and he's charismatic. The dad in Frailty he's not charismatic, but
no.
But do you see where I'm going with this? It's kind of like, was he doing good with doing bad?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I think this is one of those movies that's just like I feel like every time I rewatch it, I have a different takeaway from it, and I feel a little different.
Yeah.
And the last time I saw this movie, I did not have children. Now I am I have a son and a daughter, and I looked at this movie through a little bit of a different lens, and I saw different things, and like actually it's, full transparency, I felt incredibly sad watching this movie the second time. Like not the second time. I've seen this movie many times, but like this repeat viewing, it got me very sad. I don't know how I truly feel, and again, without giving too much away about the ending and whatnot, I think everything is on the table in terms of like interpreting this movie, and I think that's why it's such a good film.
I agree.
Because you can totally come back to this one over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So... in terms of Joseph Kallinger, I think, to be fair, I do think that both stories, like the true crime and the movie itself, also just like have that same sense of ambiguity. But no matter what, Joseph Kallinger did, at least officially, he was convicted of killing 3 people. So, he's not a good person, and he did not do good things.
Yeah, and I'm just processing kind of what you were saying about the kids, and I think like when I truly was watching the film, I felt so bad for those kids, and the same of looking into the true crime portion with Kallinger. I really just felt for these children, and how could someone that is supposed to protect the children kind of do this to them. It is heartbreaking.
100%.
And to think this is still modern day, right? Children are still abused, and they're still finding kids who are kept in cages and emotionally and physically abused and starved on purpose, and it is just really it's upsetting. And at least now there are more programs in place for people to get the help that they need mentally.
And I mean, Joe Kallinger also is not the only one of these killers who was, I guess you would call him a missionary killer. So a missionary killer, for our audience that does not know that term, they are on a mission. They have a directive, whether that is some sort of innately set goal or it is a goal from a higher deity or being in this case God, right? Kallinger was on a mission from God, but he was not the only one, right? There are a lot of these types of serial killers who have existed throughout history, who were also under some type of higher powers governance, Mm-hmm. So that's scary. I mean, I'm sure there's one right out there right now doing this.
Yeah. I hope not.
I hope not either, but...
I hope not.
Probably, though. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
And is it mental illness or is the voice of God real? I don't think we'll ever know.
Yeah. So, even if Bill Paxton didn't know the case, he was definitely exploring the same territory: devotion, obedience, moral delusion, and small town horror.
I don't know. I can't recommend this film enough. I just think that it's one of those films that you can't unsee. And that's a wrap on Joseph Kallinger and Frailty. From a suburban father hiding terror behind his quiet life to a Texas dad hunting demons he believes are real. There's something about the darkness and the ordinary that just sticks with you.
Absolutely. And whether Paxton was influenced by Kallinger or not, the themes overlap so perfectly, it's hard to ignore. Obsession, moral delusion, the father-son bond twisted into something terrifying. It's classic psychological horror and true crime territory rolled all up into a pretty package.
Yeah, and for the listeners, that's the takeaway. So, evil doesn't always wear a mask. And sometimes it's hidden behind a shoemaker's apron or a quiet suburban smile. Those cobblers are fucked up people.
Yeah, and speaking of shoes, let's hope your dad never asks you to tie up some murder boots, for God's sakes. Or, Mike, try not to go back to a cobbler again. I don't want to see you getting yelled at.
I know. He might hit me with the shoe, beat me to death with the heel.
He's gonna find you.
It's like single.
Drop into the comments, cobbler.
It's like single white female. Remember, she kills somebody with a shoe in that movie.
Oh, yes, I do remember that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, nothing like a little cobbler-induced terror to spice up family game night.
As of today, Sunday, November 2nd, you can find Frailty on Tubi. Thanks for joining us on the Fear Archive. We'll be back with more tales of darkness, obsession, and the twisted ways people justify what they do.
And until next time, stay safe, keep your doors locked, and maybe don't let your dad, don't let your dad name the axe Otis. Like when your dad starts naming his tools, you got to question that, right?
Yeah.
That's a deep cut to the movie.
When he has a pipe and an axe, just say goodbye. Set the boundary. Go no contact.
All right. Rest in peace, Bill Paxton. We love you.
Yeah, a real one. All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night. You've been listening to The Fear Archive, hosted by Amanda Kagawada and Michael Ryan Asap, produced by Cassie Josephove, with original music by Umberto. This podcast is a production of Violet Hour Media.